Hello friends, I'm Mr. Ubona. Welcome to our financial literacy series on this channel today. And I want to start by asking, have you ever imagined someone close to you being thrown out of his house or ripped of his personal belongings by someone who he or she is indebted to? Have you ever imagined why someone who you feel maybe in your office, in your neighborhood, that lives better than you, comes to you either for you to lend him or her some money? Today, we want to talk about debt management. Yet, it's almost inevitable in the world today that people go around to seek help. But then, there should be a way to manage it. And that is why we are bringing you debt management in our series of today. Because we want you to live a healthy financial life. That is why we are bringing you this topic today, debt management. And we urge you to sit back and watch till the end. What is debt? Without looking for a complex definition, debt is anything owed by one person to another. It could be money, could involve real estate, it could be services and or other considerations. Somehow we get involved in asking or getting to borrow something from neighbors, from friends, or from corporate organizations. Let's see what the Bible says about debt in the book of Psalms chapter 37 verse 21, and I read, "The wicked borrows, but does not pay back. But the righteous is generous and gives." So that means somehow you have the liberty to borrow when the need arises. But that is not where it ends. What is debt management? Debt management is a way to keep up with your bills, especially when they are becoming seemingly getting out of control. Hence, you need to now manage the debt to be sure that you will be able to get out of it without having so much embarrassment. Walking along the road, having to switch off your phone because you don't want your friends to get to you. Those are embarrassments that you would not want to face. Hence, you would need to have some strategies on how to manage your debt. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. And I start by saying, 1, know whom you owe and how much. That is the first thing to do. You must be able to identify who you owe and how much. Tip number 2, have a budget, create a budget, which is compare what you earn, what you owe, and what you spend. If you are able to compare what you owe, what you earn, and what you spend, you are on the right direction to managing your debt, no matter how big or small it looks. Tip number 3, always pay your bills on time each month or periodically whenever time is due for you to pay. Don't always wait for the last day of call to pay your debt. Pay those bills timely whenever the funds are available. Tip number 4, make at least the minimum repayment. Try as much as possible to ensure, even if you don't have the full amount that is due within a certain period, that you make the minimum repayments when they are due. Don't just, try to avoid your bills. No. Pay the little you can, as much that is available at whenever the time calls. Number 5, decide which of your debts to pay off first. And that could be determined by some factors. If there are so many, just make a decision on which one you want to pay off first and be sure that they are within your plan and focus in paying that bill off as you have planned to do. Try as much as possible, that's number 6, to consolidate your debt. So if you have so many debts from Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, try as much as possible to consolidate it and be sure that your debt is coming from a source. In that way, you might be able to strike a better deal. You might be even able to get lower interest rates if there are debts that attract interest. You will also be able to manage the number of people who come to you for bills. That is one of the major ways or tips that will also help you to manage your debt. That is consolidating your debt as much as possible. Tip number 7, try to build emergency funds to fall back on. We can never overemphasize the importance of building an emergency trust fund because life happens. Uncertainties are so imminent. You can never predict tomorrow. So you have to plan for emergency. Build an emergency trust fund to fall back on. That's number 7. Number 8, recognize the signals that you need help. So when those bills are choking, when the debtors are calling and you need help, recognize the signs. Don't shy away from it. Go to them. If you need to call a professional to help you manage those debts, please do. Don't run away when those signs keep calling. Tip number 9, shop around for better deals. Try as much as possible to renegotiate those debts when need arises. Tip number 10, sell unwanted gifts and some household items that are not really necessary, just for you to be able to get out of the debt that you owe as of today. By getting out of those debts, you are actually on your way to fulfilling some of your financial goals. The next tip I will give you here is pay off the smallest debt first. So if you have this debt from different sources, different amounts, I will advise you to pay down the smallest first. That will take away that source from coming to distract you. Then you will be able to have time to focus on other ones and find out how to sort them out. Perhaps you will also consider paying off the most expensive ones. So if these debts are attracting charges, try as much as possible to prioritize the expensive ones and get them paid off on time. Then the next tip is try to increase your income. Maybe by having a side hustle. Try to do something extra, maybe with your time. Try to work and make extra income. This will help you to come out of your debt on time. This is very necessary and a very helpful tip to use in managing your debt. Then I will give you my last tip for today. Make sure you pay at least more than the minimum balance when necessary. That is to tell you that if you are supposed to pay 10,000 today and you have 11,000, ensure you pay it. Don't just stick to the amount that is due for you to pay. These are better ways of building good credit history and also good ways of managing your debt. We want you to live a good, healthy financial life, and that is why your debt needs to be managed. For you to watch more of our videos, click that subscription button below. Thank you.